Hi everyone, good night. How you all doing? Welcome back to Karen Vibes. Oh boy, I've been out for a while. I've been busy as a bee. I've been so busy. But here I am. Sorry I've been out so long, but I am here. Alright, so we're getting to the end of our book. We're actually at chapter 13. So we're gonna get into it without further ado. So let me first say, guys, thank you for having me in your space. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. All right, and as I usually do, name of my book is Come Back Old Iron Blue, written by Elkanah Rule and narrated by me, Karen Weir. All right, guys, so as I usually say, please relax. If you're doing something, you can listen along. Just relax and enjoy while I read. Alright, so without further ado, let me get into it. Alright, so as I said before, we had the last part that we had left off, we had stopped was at chapter 12. So we had finished chapter 12, and so if you join my YouTube page on Karen Vibes on YouTube and you've been following me, you'll see where I left off. Or if you haven't been following, just go onto my page and you can follow the story from the beginning. Alright, thank you so much. Alright, so we're at chapter 13, and the heading for chapter 13 is confusion. Confusion. So we're getting down into it. Alright, so let's begin. Confusion. Miss Dorcas stubbornly insisted that it was the duty of a woman to prepare a man's meal. She threatened to leave his home if Old Iron Blue were unable to understand. So as I say, if you've been following with the lady that Old Iron Blue had living at his house and what have you, just go onto my page, follow from there. As I said, we had left off at chapter 12. You just follow the story, you'll catch on. Alright? Alright, so let's start again. Confusion. Miss Dorcas stubbornly insisted that it was the duty of a woman to prepare a man's meal. She threatened to leave his home if Old Iron Blue were unable to understand. He did not want her to leave, so he reluctantly agreed for her to do the cooking, but he knew that he would never get as much as when he prepared it himself. So he wasn't having, so all along he was the one, Old Iron Blue was the one who was preparing the meals, because we know that Old Iron Blue is greedy. So he would normally allow anybody to prepare his meals. But so him no want Miss Dorcas to leave, so him just have to just give in to it. He was quite correct, because the first meal he got from her, though it would be very large for an ordinary man, was quite small for him. He looked at it and nearly cried. Oh my God. His heart sank in despair at what he concluded was a sign of things to come. To further compound his problem, many of whom used to offer him food were no longer willing to do so, as they said that he had a woman to prepare his meals now. I don't think I should keep this woman, he grumbled to himself as he walked on the road one day. I am going to starve to death. It is better for me to do without a woman and stay alive. I will soon start to get mager. The woman salt me up in such bad way that people won't offer me a little food again. Because remember now that before Miss Dorcas came to live with him, he used to time people pot. Remember that part of the story? Well, for those who are new, you wouldn't. But he used to time the people's pot in the neighborhood, and then when he timed the pot now, he would go and try to catch their food. So they're saying that because he has a woman at home now, nobody not offering him any food anymore. Sorry about that. Sometimes my tongue gets a bit twisted. But on second thoughts, I should be a proud man. I am a lucky man. I have the fattest woman in the district. I am better off than Pappy Mac and even Teacher Turnbull. Their women are not so fat as mine. Their women have pretty faces, but they don't have the body to go with it. That woman can't leave my yard. I will have to find another way to solve this problem. I would be an idiot to have the best thing in the district and not be proud. I should ask myself, Old Iron Blue, is you this? As he mumbled to himself, he was surprised to find that he had reached Miss Chambers' gate so quickly. His timing of her pot was right on target. She was just taking it off from the fire when he arrived. She dished out a plate of oxtail and rice and gave it to him. What kind of meat is this? It is very delicious and it's nice to throw. Oxtail, she replied, hoping that he was not going to request some more. Oh, this is foreign meat, he observed. We don't have any ox in Jamaica. Yes, we have many of them all around. It is a large animal with a pair of horns on its head. It gives milk and says moo. You mean cowtail? He reassured himself in delight. So why you have to call it oxtail? Not many people would want to eat cowtail, but almost everyone would want to eat oxtail, she explained. Well, I will have to start to prepare some of this for myself, he explained as he tossed the last bone to an unappreciated bulrush. While Old Iron Blue was out in the days, Seedcap spent an increasing amount of time with Miss Dorcas. Seedcap spent an increasing amount of time with Miss Dorcas. Seedcap began to observe that if he left Old Iron Blue's house and returned after as short as Seedcap began to observe that if he left Old Iron Blue's home and returned after as short a time as 5 minutes, he would find Jeggerman there on his return. If he did not leave, Jeggerman would not turn up. So the two of them courting Old Iron Blue's wife. He seemed to have had an interest in Miss Dorcas and had been watching his movements. Here I know that this you call Tory come to bump. Old Iron Blue went out early each morning. He usually never came back till after sundown. If he dropped in occasionally in the days and saw Seedcap or Jeggerman, he never seemed to be perturbed. He took care of whatever urgent business he came to look about and would be quickly gone. The situation was becoming unbearable for Seedcap, as Jeggerman was now getting to Miss Dorcas' home before him in the morning. In addition to that, he was taking presents to her almost daily. A large crocus bag full of breadfruit, yam, bananas, and other assorted provisions, and a lovely juicy cut of purple striped sugarcane in his hand. A long time I don't see sugarcane with the purple stripe on it. Long time I don't eat a piece of sugarcane. Anyway, at first the men spoke to each other, though begrudgingly, but the relationship began to get more strained. When they met, they merely grumbled, morning sir, in a very low tone. Finally, Seedcap stopped answering when Jaggerman grumbled howdy do to him. Miss Joplin happened to hear what was transpiring and took it on herself to inform the entire community. And we know how Miss Joplin is already. Anyone she met, she began to inform him. "Me dear, story had come to bump. Seedcap and Jaggerman out to catch fight over old Iron Blue Woman." The month of December made its entry, and the breeze began to blow cooler. The flagging of the sugarcane and the appearance of certain wild flowers that came to full bloom in that season were constant reminders that Christmas was near. And we now know that when Christmas is near, we can feel the breeze, the cool breeze. Early one afternoon, some men gathered in Mr. McIntosh's bar, just outside Rabbit Wall. Mac was busy informing them about the implication of the federal elections that was held earlier in the year. He made mention of Lord Hales and Sir Grantley Adams. Among those listening was Jaggerman, who apparently won some money and was willing to pay for a round of drinks. At the back of the premises, Mac's big son was busy trying to get his Delco started so that he could get current for his sound system. Every now and then a child popped into the shop and bought a large penny balloon or two smaller ones at half a penny each. Sometimes they received an extra one from Mac's kind wife. The blast of a single firecracker interrupted the calm at irregular intervals. The tantalizing smell of smoked cured pork being fried somewhere nearby filled the evening air and tormenting the appetite of everyone. The men sniffed and commented as they licked their lips. "We seldom smell pork with such aroma these days," commented one. "What happens to pigs nowadays?" "Nothing. It is the same pigs. It is the same pigs. It is your nose getting old, not picking up the smell too well," stated Jaggerman. A sharp, frightening clatter came from the roof. "What's that?" "Rain?" asked one of the men with urgency in his voice. "Yes," replied another. "What a way it come down so sudden." It lasted for about 30 minutes, but it came with such force that streams of muddy water ran on the road. A muddy pool settled in front of Pappy Mac's shop. Little brown bubbles popped up from various of the pools where the water flowed at the sides of the road. Little cauldrons of froth-covered water settled at the bottom of tiny waterfalls. As soon as the rain finished, Seedcap walked into Mac's bar. Jaggerman cried out, "You mash my toes and you don't even have the good manners to say sorry." I didn't even walk near you," retaliated Seedcap, looking somewhat surprised and trying to read whether Jaggerman was joking or not. He saw no joke on his face. Before anyone could intervene, Jaggerman grabbed Seedcap and tried to pull him to the ground. Seedcap quickly regained his balance and pulled Jaggerman through the door. Before the other men could separate them, Seedcap lifted Jaggerman high into the air and dumped him into the pool of muddy water in front of the bar. He went face down. His whole face was covered with mud. Not even his eyes could open. Oh my God. His pride was also badly tarnished. His immediate consideration was to salvage his pride. Mr. Mack took a jug of clean rainwater that he had caught from the roof of his shop. He gently washed Jaggerman's face and taking care to get the mud from his eyes. He was advised to go home as his clothes were all covered with mud. Look at that, guys, how we pushed him to the ground, right into the mud in front of the shop. Sorry. With irritated eyes and muddy clothes, he walked away from the shop. As he walked away, he called out, "I won't deliberately come into your way again. I am sure you know what I'm talking about. But any day I meet you on the road, you're going to talk to my well-filed machete. You will soon find out that I am not a little chicken-hearted man. I have my pride and reputation to protect in this district." That's a warning. Jaggerman made sure not to return to Old Iron Blue's house, but Seedcap could not go either. From the following morning, Jaggerman was patrolling the road with his newly filed machete, and he made clear his intention. Seedcap, though he was much stronger than Jaggerman, became so fearful that he could hardly leave his house. He could not seek police protection as the nearest